that you're bleeding, but you're through it now, so you run. I know that you need it, you can't live alone, so you run, so you run. Everyone says you're amazing now that you're clean, but only you know who the real ones are, 'cause you've seen. There's only one question I want to ask, is it healing when you hear everyone say you're amazing? Does anyone ask you? Do you cry in your sleep? And do you feel okay when you run? Thinking it's
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our web event this afternoon, the Perfect Business Advisory Storm. You're live here with myself, Aynsley. I'm the CEO of Clarity. Clarity is a business advisory platform that uses and leverages technology together with the right processes to enable accountants, bookkeepers, and advisors to be able to create, package, price, and deliver business advisory services. I'm joined here today by with Amy Hayes, who is our head of community. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Hi. Good. Thanks. How are you doing? Thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah. So just to let you know, we're just waiting for people to come through. When we open up the webinar, it takes a little while for some people to come through. So there's more people joining as we speak. Now, you are muted, but you're not on mute. So please jump into the chat box. If you've got any questions you want to ask us, just either use the Q&A or the chat box. In fact, just to let us know that you can use the chat function, it would be great if you typed in now to say hi. Let us know where where you are and how you're doing. That would be wonderful. So I can see people are responding already, hopefully. So we have a bit more. Oh, no, that's Amy encouraging everybody to use the chat function. So just let us know you're there and say hi. So we've got, hi, Caroline. Hi, Kath. How are you? Hi, Sharon. Good to see you all. Excellent. So we're just going to get started straight away. Hi, and I can see, Paul, welcome from Northumberland. So we've got a good mix. Now, today's webinar is in conjunction with AAT, so welcome to all those AAT members. If you're not from AAT, that's okay too. You're more than welcome to join us. So we're going to get straight in and get stuck in. What we want to cover today is a brief introduction and background to us and to me and Clarity. We're going to talk about what small businesses are really, really looking for from accountants and bookkeepers and advisors and what we can do to help them. We're also going to look at how we can engage the team, and then we can discuss with you the next steps if you want to move forward with us here at Clarity. Now, a little bit of background about me. So you're thinking, why on earth is Aynsley Damery talking to us about business advisory services? I'm actually an accountant myself. I'm a chartered accountant. I sold my practice. I probably more often referred to by people as a reformed accountant. I sold my accounting firm almost 2 years ago. Now, our accounting firm was a very niche business advisory firm. It focused on delivering business advisory support services to high growth entrepreneurs and small business owners. So it was a multi-award winning, multi-million-dollar revenue firm. We were very lucky to win a number of awards for the way we did business, for culture, for the innovation. We were most innovative accounting firm in the UK for 3 years in a row, which seems a bit of an oxymoron. We were also best advisors to small business, amongst some other awards. Now, for us, it was really, the innovation was from a technological perspective, but it was how we utilize technology to deliver a better client services and a better client experience. So it was leveraging technology to do that, not just technology for technology's sake. We were very early adopters of cloud technology back in probably 2009. And Clarity really came from a gap that we felt in the marketplace from helping accountants and advisors to be able to deliver business advisory support services to many small businesses out there. Typically, we see in accounting firms that they focus on the top 10, 20% of their client base, but we know that there's a huge amount of small business owners that are really, really looking for help along the way. Now, I started my career at KPMG, and I left KPMG to join a local firm in the UK. It was a regional accounting firm at the time with a number of offices, and they were very, very much focused on compliance only. And over the years, we introduced systems and processes to the firm to really speed up the efficiency and delivery and the engineering process of compliance, and that's the accounts and tax returns function. And then we looked at how we could introduce added value services that small business owners were looking for and deliver those to them at a price that they're willing to pay for. And I think that's the big key here. So when we talk business advisory, and we'll open the bonnet on what business advisory is, it's about delivering services that small business owners want, they're valuable to them, but they can actually afford to pay for. Not all small business owners can pay for big ticket consulting or can pay for bespoke advisory services. And this is why we need to leverage the team and leverage technology. So it's all about people, process, and technology. You'll hear me repeat a number of times today. So a little bit of info on clarity. So we want to give every small business owner in the world clarity so that they can build a better business for themselves, a better life for their family and their team, and ultimately create and contribute towards a better world. And as an organization, we support the UN Sustainable Development Goals. They've been a little bit quiet at this part of the world for a long period of time, but over the last couple of weeks, we've seen increased interest. And in fact, 150 business leaders wrote to Boris Johnson. So some of the top businesses in the UK wrote to Boris Johnson, encouraging and advising him to make sure that the post-COVID recovery was based on the UN Sustainable Developments as a framework to ensure a better future for everyone. We do that through our association with Buy One, Give One. And we were also very lucky at Clarity, even though we launched in September last year, to be Xero's Global App Partner of the Month in November 2019. And we are finalists for their 2020 Emerging App of the Year too. So some good successes quite early on for us. So a little bit of background, an intro into why small business is big business and why small business really matters and what small business owners are looking for from us as accountants. Amy is going to be manning the chat. So again, if you want to ask any questions, please do so. Just throw them in there. Amy will interrupt me. I'm quite a relaxed speaker and presenter, and it's nice to engage with the audience. It's difficult on a web event to see everybody. Obviously I can't see you, so I'm just hoping you're engaged and paying attention. So if you want to ask questions, please do, and Amy will interrupt me at relevant parts along the way. So a little bit of intro to why small businesses matters and how big small business really is. Now, small businesses in most Western countries represent 99.9% of all businesses. That's particularly true in both the US and in the UK. In Canada, the number is, I think, about 99.7. In Australia, New Zealand, it's approximately 99.9 and 99.6, depending on which jurisdiction you're in. So small business is huge. Now, the numbers here we can see are 5.7 million in the UK and just over 30 million in the US. There are approximately 163 million registered small businesses in the world, and potentially there are another 600 million unregistered. So small business is absolutely colossal. In the UK, it represents 60% of all private sector employment. In the US, it's a little bit lower at 48%. And in other jurisdictions, it can get slightly higher. So again, 16.2 million employees in the UK are employed by small businesses, and that's 59 million in the US. And the contribution to private sector turnover in the UK is 52%, or 1.9 trillion. And the US, it's 44% and 5.9 trillion. And again, those numbers are echoed pretty much around the world. So depending on where you're joining us from today. Now, small business obviously is huge, but we know that the survival rates of small businesses are particularly poor. And in fact, when we look at the failure rates in most Western economies, it's anywhere between 50 and 60%. In the UK and the US, we pretty much mirror each other, and we're around 60% fail within 5 years. And that's absolutely huge. Now, when we go out to 10 years, those numbers are slightly harder to find, but anecdotally and from the evidence that we find, anywhere between 1 and 3 businesses survives that 10-year mark. And that's particularly important because economic cycles have tended to go in 10-year cycles, and that's potentially why 10 years is the killer area, where we see that, sometimes it can be, depending on when a business gets created, then it depends on when it's going to hit the potential recession and down point. Now, clearly, what's going on in the world at the moment is absolutely unprecedented, is the word that often people say. It is just, crazy, crazy, crazy times. Now, we've seen so many accountants, and we speak to so many accountants from all over the world, and they've been heavily getting involved with their clients, we've seen most small businesses really now appreciate that small businesses accountants are effectively the front line for small businesses. So I've referred to it as the perfect advisory storm. This is where small business owners are desperately understanding they need help. Their accountant is the natural place for them to go for that help. And accountants have been there and have been pulling out all the stops to be able to support small businesses, particularly through the various phases that we've seen so far. So the initial phase was complete shock. Obviously, it was firefighting, was protection. A lot of accountants were helping triage their clients, understand who needed to be hibernated in effect, what businesses needed help from a corporate recovery perspective, and what businesses need help from a financing and a loan perspective. So preparing budgets and projections to finance those loans was really critical, and it was a huge tsunami, a deluge, complete overwhelm at the beginning. We're now probably, for most businesses, in the survive to thrive phase. So this is, and depending on the sector that the small business owner is in, we're seeing that many businesses are now looking forward to the recovery and are positioning themselves for recovery. Now, we don't know when that's going to hit, obviously. There is potential for a downturn once the various government stimulus programs end in the next couple of months, and we may see a number of businesses that really struggle over the next couple of months, and it depends again on what sector you're in. So it's really important that we understand our clients, we understand what business they're in, we understand what they're looking for and what help they need, and that we engage our entire team to be able to help support them and to help keep them safe going forward. Now, it's also important that we get our firms thinking and our clients thinking about the recovery phase. Again, we're not sure when that's going to be, but it will come. And we need to be getting firms to switch mindset potentially and look to the future and look at how they can harness what's happened at the moment and what they can learn from it to be able to push forward into the future. We often hear about a V-shaped recovery. Well, perhaps maybe it's not quite V-shaped. Maybe we're being very optimistic and expecting it to be V-shaped. Maybe it's more U-shaped recovery, but no doubt this recovery will be there. We will see new business models. We will particularly see a drive and a push towards digital. And so it's important that we position our clients in the best way so that they can actually take the journey and take ride of the growth phase that's inevitably to come. Now, the main problems that we see with small businesses at the current time is the same problems that we've seen with small businesses over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Now, particularly, it's a complex world. The world is complex. It is getting more so. Often people refer to the current period as VUCA. So that's volatile, uncertain, chaotic, or complex and ambiguous. So it's a really tricky time. And what our clients are looking for from us is they're looking for insights, they're looking for support, they're looking for knowledge. What they don't need is more complexity. What we don't need to throw at them is more data, more graphs, more information. We need to help them, and we need to give them insights, and we need to wade through the vast amount of information that's out there and be able to support them and give them high impact, relevant, actionable information and strategies to be able to help support them. So this isn't about just blanket shoving information out there. Now, I understand that it was important for firms to get information out quickly to their clients and to deal with the basic questions and queries on one-to-many. So whether that's newsletters, whether that's having your own web events, however you want to do that, I appreciate that that's important. But when we get one-on-one to clients, it's about helping them wade through that information and to extract the bits and pieces that are really critical for them and important for them to achieve success. Now, the next major challenge that we see with many businesses is cash. Now, we've heard always that cash is king. Well, it is true. And so many small business owners don't understand cash. They don't understand the movement of cash in a business, and they don't understand the difference between profit and cash. How many of your clients have potentially said to you when you've shown them a set of accounts, I can't have made that profit, where has all the cash gone? So it's really critical that as accountants, we're there to help our small business owners understand cash, to help them with cash flow management and cash flow projections, and also to help them understand that their business model is generating and is set to generate operating cash, and so that they can grow scalably and profitably and not just grow broke. Now, this isn't about just cash flow projections. This is about the business model and understanding how their business is set up to generate cash. And again, as accountants, we're eminently capable of understanding that. We just need to share that knowledge with our clients. It's also about helping them get access to the right cash at the right time for the right price. So this is loan finance. It's the various different types of finance that are available to a small business. It's also potentially maybe investment or outside support and help as well, or maybe it's an exit. So this is particularly important. And again, we need to help small business owners understand that it's about getting the right cash at the right price. We've seen, particularly at the moment, the rush to C-bills and bounce back loans in the UK. There are equivalents in other jurisdictions. And it's vitally important that we know that our businesses can support that loan and can actually afford it, because they will need to be repaid. And we need to ensure that the business is set to be able to generate enough revenue and to generate a return on that money to be able to help support the businesses going forward. The other major challenge that we see with small business owners is they lack financial information, they lack reliable financial information, and they don't understand their numbers. So the statistics say that approximately 20% of businesses in the UK get regular management information. And when you think about it nowadays, with the advent of cloud accounting, it's disappointing that we still see a situation where small business owners aren't getting regular management information. And we also know that when we prepare a set of accounts or management accounts, there's varying degrees of accuracy with management reporting. So are we taking into account revenue recognition? Are we accounting for all the accruals and prepayments? And oftentimes when we press management accounts and prepare them, we push a button from the software, and potentially the small business owner doesn't understand the importance of actually working carefully on his accounts and preparing a really reliable set of accounts, because the more accurate the data, the better the business decisions we can help them with. And it's also about helping them understand their numbers full stop. Oftentimes, small business owners are frightened of their accountant and they're afraid to look silly. So they may not always tell you that they don't understand what the accounts are saying, or they don't understand the numbers. So it's vitally critical that we walk our clients through a set of accounts. Don't assume that they understand what those accounts are saying, but we actually take them through. We show them the changes in numbers. We show them where we're slightly concerned. If numbers have gone up, there's big variances on the previous year, or the percentages aren't what we expect them to be. And we just walk them through the challenges and issues that we see with a set of accounts. That's probably a great thing that we could do, is sit down with our clients and walk them through a set of accounts and not assume knowledge, because sometimes when they nod, they're afraid to say they don't really truly understand those numbers. And the last major challenge we see with small business owners is no clear planning. Now, we know that every single successful business out there in the world, every business that achieves success does so by planning. And when we're talking about planning here, we're not necessarily talking about a 60-page tome that sits on the bottom shelf here. We're talking about a financial model, a living, breathing financial model that has some scenario planning, that shows what happens if revenue increases, decreases, what happens to the costs, how are we creating profit, how does that turn into cash? And those are really, really critical. It's like building a house by just starting with blocks on the ground and seeing what happens. You might end up with a house, but it may not be what you were looking for, or it may not be a great house. Now, every single thing in the world that's created is basically built on a design. So if you think about it, even free-flowing artwork has some element of planning and thought that goes into it. But if you look at something structural, like an engine or a business or anything or a house that's structural, every one of those has a plan. And it's the same with business. We need plans to be able to understand how to achieve success in a business. And it's not necessarily that the plan won't change, that we won't, for example, in a house, add extra windows, paint rooms a different color, add conservatories. It's the same with business. The plan will necessarily change, but we need to have an idea of what it looks like to achieve success and what that means. And when we say, oh, well, it's hard to know what's going to happen in 3 months' time, let alone 12 months, therefore we shouldn't plan. Well, that's not really the purpose of planning. The purpose of planning is to create a milestone. We can measure where we're going on that milestone and know if we need to shift in business or whether we need to continue on the same path. So it's really, really critical that every single small business owner has a very simple, at least, business plan. And that's from a numbers perspective. Technology now allows us and enables us to do that quite quickly and efficiently. So when we look at those challenges that small business owners have, And then we look at what small business owners are looking for us as accountants, bookkeepers, and advisors. What do they want help with? This was a study that was done in the US at the end of 2018 and by Accounting Today. There's a network in the UK called 2020, which did a similar survey last year in the UK, and the only difference was number 3 and number 4 switched places. So very similar to the US and in the UK. And effectively what small business owners are that very nebulous term, trusted advisor. But effectively what that means is an intelligent friend, somebody who's there to listen to them. Business is a lonely place, and small business owners often don't have somebody to talk to. Many of their friends are employed and so don't understand the issues and challenges they're facing. That's with cash and team and getting clients and just the next VAT bill, for example. They don't have somebody that they can talk to. And those friends of theirs that are in business, oftentimes it's a tricky place to admit that maybe you're not as successful. So people tend to climb up. But with an accountant, it gives them a really trusted space where they can share their issues and concerns and use you as a sounding board. And I think as accountants, we sometimes forget this. Just being there to listen to small business owners is probably one of the best things we can do. To be there to support them, to listen to their issues and challenges. And oftentimes business owners know the answers. It's just being there to be able to talk through them and to talk through various scenarios is probably huge. Well, it is hugely valuable, but it's probably what they're really, really looking for. So just being there to listen is a huge thing. Responding to their queries quickly, understanding their business or industry, being affordable, and communicating clearly with them as non-accountants are seen as the 5 top things that SMEs are looking for from their accountants. Now, you won't see accounts and tax returns on this list, and you probably wouldn't have expected to either. Most clients see those as necessary evils. They're not what they really, really want. But it's also important for you to understand here that to deliver all 5 of these to almost all of your clients. And when you look at the percentages here, we're looking almost all your clients want all these 5 things. For you to be able to do that efficiently and effectively for all of your clients, it's a tricky ask. And it's not something that you're going to need to engage technology. You're going to need to engage your team. This can't be done by just people alone, because that will affect the cost equation. Putting more people at this is going to make it unaffordable. Now, this isn't to say that we should be looking at very streamlined firms. What we need to be doing is delivering added value services that small business owners desperately want to pay for. And that gives us higher profit margins, so we're able to engage and employ more people to be able to deliver this. This is not about using our intelligence and our time doing work that computers can do, or that potentially we could offshore. This is about making sure that our onshore teams are delivering what the small business owners desperately value and desperately need. So this is about us helping them focus on those 5 key areas and being able to offer those to almost all of our clients, because we can see those numbers are absolutely colossal. And effectively, everything that a small business owner is looking for from us. So if we looked at the previous 2 slides, so that was help with their cash flow, help with cash, understanding cash, help understanding the numbers, help with planning, being there to listen to them, doing it cost effectively, understanding their business and their industry, and communicating clearly with them in non-accounting language, then all of those things are eminently within our power to be able to deliver. Accountants have all the inherent skills, all the necessary training, everything that they are built for is exactly what small business owners are looking for. And so we need to have the confidence to be able to understand that that's exactly the case, and empower our team to be able to deliver what small business owners are really, really looking for. Prince Charles said that it was accountants would save the world, and potentially some people laughed at him. But this is really is a time, and particularly now is our time to rise. It's our ability to show the world that we are the front line for small businesses, and we can help them with exactly all that they're looking for. So I've been talking for a little while. I can see there's been very few questions, so I will continue. But if you do want to ask anything about those, then just please put it in the chat box. Let me know if you disagree or if you agree with small businesses owners are looking for. If you agree, say yes. We can know you're listening. If you don't agree, then say, no, I don't agree because. Then that would be helpful to let us know that you're there. So we got somebody sending in a message, but that's possibly Amy saying, please. Oh, yes, fantastic, great, Katie, good to hear. Yes, from Jingzhao, Caroline, absolutely agree with all of this. Fantastic. So I won't keep hammering the point then. So what does this mean for you as an accountant, a bookkeeper, advisor? What does this mean for you as a firm? How are you going to be able to help here? Well, the biggest challenges that we're seeing facing accountants and bookkeepers is that a lot of accountants exchange a time for money scenario. So they bill their clients on the basis of time. And sometimes that can be a downward spiral. We're also seeing a massive increase in competition and a huge downward pressure on pricing. And so accountants are working harder and longer for lower returns. And effectively, accountants are becoming a slave to the firm, a slave to their fellow employees, and sometimes to their clients if they are just solely focusing on compliance work. And we're also seeing that accountants are earning less than they previously earned. And we're seeing that profits per partner, particularly in some of the smaller accounting firms, are dropping by 41% over the last 5 years. And studies are showing that, and it's absolutely, dreadful. So we're seeing a huge pressure on time, particularly if we look at the current economic climate. All the work that we're having to do to support our clients through this crazy time is meaning that we are pretty much time starved as well. So if we're billing on the basis of time and we're lacking time, then you can see the problem here, can't you, from an equation perspective. So we're looking for new revenue streams as a profession. It's difficult to scale business advisory, and that's always been the problem in the past. And that's potentially because people have gone too heavy into business advisory. They've tried to go too far into consulting, which is really heavily reliant on high caliber team members, expensive team members, and also finding the right clients who are looking for that level of work. And potentially as well, we're seeing a huge amount of challenges with software and the proliferation of apps that are out there. It's very difficult to wade through them all and understand what's really, really helpful and what's solving the problems for you as an accountant. So bearing in mind the challenges that small business owners are facing, what they're looking for, and the challenges that you're facing as well, it's particularly important to understand that compliance isn't dead. We've been told this potentially for the last 15, 20 years, that compliance is dead. We all need to move to advisory. It's all about added value services. And so sometimes we've been kind of slightly brainwashed into this scenario, but compliance isn't dead. Compliance isn't going to be dead. We've seen that accountants are able to help small business owners through the compliance function. And we've seen that many small business owners want help through the compliance function. Yes, computers are getting better. And they will do more of the heavy lifting for us. But as we see going forward, it's not about compliance is dead, we must move to advisory. It's more about how we combine compliance and advisory going forward. And that's so that we can create a more profitable revenue stream for the accounting firm that can enable us to employ the right team to be able to deliver and to be able to support small business owners across the board. Now, when I say for most of us, there will be some firms that will be able to deliver compliance at scale and be able to make that profitable. But effectively, if you think about it from a supermarket perspective, we see certain supermarkets that have small margins but have huge volume, and they're able to make profits because of the volume. So unless, if you're focusing on compliance, unless you're going to do it in masses of volumes going forward, you won't be able to continue to make the profits that you had, or to earn the income that you had, or to be able to employ the team members that you want to on the basis of that revenue. Something has got to change. Now, if you want to run your own firm's numbers, or your own numbers if you're a sole practitioner through, and see what's possible in your business, then please go onto our website. So that's clarity-hq.com/calculator. Amy will put it in the chat box for you. So if you want to go on there, you can play with your own firm's numbers and look at what's possible and look at the potential within the firm to be able to earn extra revenue, and what that does to the mix in revenue and what that does to the mix in the profitability, because there is another revenue stream that's available to you, and it's about harnessing that and delivering that in a way that small business owners are desperately looking for and want to pay for. Now, when we break down advisory, because this is this big term, what does business advisory mean? Well, we've uncovered 5 different levels of business advisory. When people think about advisory, oftentimes they jump straight into the top and they think consulting. And so they say, I couldn't do business advisory because I'm not a management consultant. I'm not a management guru. I couldn't possibly be able to deliver business advisory to all of my clients at that top level. Well, consulting is one of the levels of business advisory, but as you can see from here, it's at the very top of the pie. there's many, many layers underneath where we can help small business owners, and very valuable layers underneath that we can get the whole team involved in. And it doesn't need somebody who's got years of experience or who's a management consultant or an FD to be able to deliver. So we look at it at its very basic level. We're looking at awareness. Now, awareness is knowing where our clients are now, where they want to get to, and what that gap is. So very simple gap analysis. Mind the gap. Most accountants will be able to do this very, very simply. And when we leverage technology, we can do it fast and efficiently and effectively too. The next step up is accountability. Now, again, this is probably, in addition to being there for our clients, listening to them, holding them accountable is probably the greatest thing we can do for them as an accountant. Studies show that small business owners that have written goals and are held accountable achieve 78% more. Now, I know that from my practice because our clients who were held accountable, who had monthly meetings, many of them doubled their profits. And they double their profits not by doing anything significant or making massive changes in their business. It was all about the power of small marginal gains. So you've heard of that term from sports. British cycling and British rowing particularly have brought it to the fore in Olympic sports. It's about just doing everything 1% better, but continually 1% better, and building on each block one on top of the other. And the power of 1% and 1% and 1% added together can be quite huge. So it's making small changes consistently, continuously, and being held accountable means that you will likely double your profits. And studies actually pretty much back that up as well. Now, the next stage up is understanding what's possible, why others are achieving success, how they're achieving growth, and how their profit is getting better, and what numbers can be improved and how they can be improved. And again, this is very simple sensitivity analysis that most accountants can easily do and completely understand numbers. Then we're taking it up a notch to be able to deliver help with strategic planning, business models, Excel spreadsheets if you have to, but let's try and leverage technology, clever technology where we can, business plans, KPIs, dashboards. Now, at each of these levels, we can go deep or we can go light. And we'll show you in a little while some strategies, some of which are very light touch strategies and some of which are more in-depth and more involved. Again, it's about understanding your client, understanding what they're looking for, and understanding what you can do to help them and what they can afford to pay for. So it's critical that we can help all small businesses, but we need to understand what they're looking for, need, and what they can afford. So it's not about giving them things that aren't valuable, but it's about helping them with valuable services that can make a massive difference to their business. And then consulting is the top of the pie. It might be that you as an accounting firm or you as an accountant don't deliver consulting. It might be that you get outsiders involved at this level. It might be that you just focus on the first four, which are eminently within the power of any accountant to deliver. So hopefully you can see that business advisory is effectively business support. It's delivering what small business owners really, really need and it solves their big challenges that we discussed in the previous slides. I can see there's a few things going on in the chat box. Amy, is there any questions that are coming through?
Yeah, just a couple of questions. Yes, we will be sending all the slides afterwards as well, so don't worry about that. And then I have one question saying, do you think accountants should stop working with clients who won't use cloud solutions?
Yes, interesting question. I'm sure that will spark. I know certainly some of the participants on here are very heavy cloud users. I know them and know they're very much a cloud advocates. I would say it depends on the type of client. I think we've got to do the right thing by the client. I think that there's huge benefits to cloud. Obviously, it's faster, more accurate, more reliable, and generally cheaper. So in most circumstances, I don't see why cloud wouldn't be the right way to go. However, I'm not sure I would refuse to work with a client. I would try and encourage them to understand the benefit of cloud and how we are able to help them more with cloud technology. In my firm, we often, we never really shouted about cloud because back in 2009, 10, 11, most of our clients were on the cloud already because we basically said to them, it's cheaper, it's quicker, it involves you in less work, it's regularly updated, and we can help you more. What's not to love? And I really didn't have anybody that objected to moving to a cloud solution. We did have some clients that needed to stay on, for example, Sage, and there isn't anything wrong with Sage. It's just sometimes clients don't know how to use Sage properly. They needed to stay on Sage because they had a CRM system or some workflow that fitted and feeded through into Sage. So I wouldn't necessarily say, no, you shouldn't work with somebody who's not prepared to move on to cloud. I would just understand and try to get down to the bottom and understand why cloud wouldn't be right for them and why they shouldn't be moving to the cloud is probably the more important point. Thanks, Amy. So, okay, thank you, Paul. Good, great. So bearing in mind the 5 levels of advisory, this is an advisory framework that we used in practice that was really helpful to small business owners and really dramatically shifted their businesses forward. And again, when we talked to small business owners or we talked to prospects about this framework, I never came across a small business that said, this isn't for us, this isn't what we wanted. In fact, we don't really understand why you want to do any of this. Everybody said, this is exactly what we're looking for. This makes sense, and we can see how we can work with you. So in very broad terms, it's about gaining an understanding of the client's business. It's about working with them to understand and plan for their future. Put in place management reporting, which is, again, something we can easily do to help support their growth. But when clients understand where that part fits in, they understand how it fits into the whole. And it's not just about saying, let's improve your profit. We do need to measure and monitor. And we do need accurate data to be able to look at those things as we're going along. It's then about holding your clients accountable, that word again. And whether this is FD services, whether this is CFO services, or whether this is very informal monthly or quarterly check-ins, then that's what we can do to help our clients keep them accountable, help them grow scalably and sustainably and profitably, and then help them maximize the value and plan for exit. So never did I encounter a small business that said, I don't get this, this isn't for us, this isn't what we want from you as an accountant. And I'm going to give you some very easy, actionable strategies that you can do at each of these levels to be able to support your clients across these levels of advisory. I'm not going to go into the 6th one, which is maximizing value and planning for exit. That's a little bit more complex for what time we've got for today, and that's more into the corporate finance side of things. But I can certainly give you some really high impact, actionable strategies for the other levels. And so let's get started. Understanding where they are now. Now, it's important as we go through this that you think about the things that you might already be doing here, because sometimes accountants do work without explaining what they're doing for their clients. So it's important that if you're doing something here, we tick it and we make sure we're advertising and explaining that we're doing it. If there's some things that we discuss here that you think, actually, I'm not doing that, that's a really good thing, I could use that, then fantastic, let's note that too. And if there are other things that you're doing that maybe we're not talking about here, then by all means, share them in the chat for the other people that are on the call. And by the way, when you share in chat, some people are sharing it to panelists only, and that's okay if you only want to send it to me and Amy, but you can just tick the drop-down arrow and share it to all attendees as well. So if you do want to send it to everybody, please do so. So we're going to give you some some high impact strategies here that you can do at each level. So again, if you're doing something, great. Let's make sure you're highlighting it to your clients. If you're not doing it and you could do it, then great. That's got some action plans for you to do to be able to help your small business owners. And if you're doing something different, again, either doing it without explaining it or doing it and explaining it, then please feel free to share. So the first section, and I'm going to do it in blocks because there's obviously a good bit to cover here. One is the understanding where they are now. Now, at my accounting firm, we did a deep dive or discovery day. And this is where we went out to the lot more, and this is obviously for larger clients, where we went out to the larger clients and we sat down with the management team or the leadership team and talked through where they were, what they were looking for, their issues, their challenges, what successes they had, what kept them up at night, what do they want to achieve in the next 12 months, what were they looking for, how did their team operate, who were their competitors, what were their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, simple SWOT analysis, understanding their management reporting framework as it was, understanding what was important to them, what data they were getting, what key performance indicators they had, what information they were using to measure and manage the business, where they wanted to be in 5 years, what they wanted from the business. So we used to spend that day, and it was a structured day, and we would look at the team, we would have discussions with the team, we would do effectively all of the things on this list pretty much within the deep dive discovery day. And that was a very valuable service for new clients who are looking to make dramatic shifts in their business. Now that's an example of going really, really deep into a client. There are other things that we can do at a lighter touch level that are maybe more appropriate for smaller businesses. Now, your deep dive discovery day, whatever you want to call it, could be a half day, it could be a 2-hour session. It's up to you to be able to look at it, how you could actually onboard a client really, really well to be able to properly understand where they are now, what they're looking for, and to be able to help them get there. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a day. It could be an hour or 2 sessions. It could be how you brand it. And remember, people buy products easier than they buy services. They understand products easier. So it's much better that you productize as many of the services that you have as possible so that people are easy able to understand it. Now, one of the things that you could do for them is look at the 7 key numbers in their business. So that's the 7 key metrics that every single small business needs to know to create success. So here we're looking at their revenue growth, we're looking at their gross profit percentage, we're looking at their operating profit percentage, revenue per employee, their core cash target, cash days, and business return. Now that's a measure of profit, balance sheet, cash, and efficiency ratios, and it gives a complete overview within those 7 numbers of every single small business, and it gives us a really, really deep understanding of where clients are now. So those 7 key numbers are absolutely critical. Strategic SWOT analysis is a little bit more involved than normal SWOT analysis. We have a template that we use at Clarity for our members. It looks at internal and external factors. It looks at strategic, it looks at operational, it looks at processes, and it looks into more, I suppose, future vision and values areas as well. So it's a really, really helpful sheet to go through with small business owners, grading each area 1 to 5, where they're strong and where they're weak. And it just really provides a roadmap for you to understand what areas the business needs to focus on, or what areas the business owner particularly needs to focus on, and whether as an accountant you're able to help in any of those areas. Obviously, accounting and bookkeeping health checks are critical. Accounting is the language of business. That's what Warren Buffett said. Warren is a very wealthy man, and he's somebody that we should probably listen to. And unfortunately, small business owners don't understand the language of business. We do. So we should be able to help our clients understand where they are from an accounting perspective, how they're set up currently, how their current accountant potentially is doing it, and internally from a bookkeeping perspective as well. So again, we have accounting and bookkeeping health check systems for our members to be able to go through and understand how they're preparing management information. Are they taking account of accruals and prepayments? What about revenue adjustments, revenue recognition, going through the whole function of a bookkeeping function to make sure that we're getting better data for better business decisions. Tax analysis obviously is something that we can simply do as well. So remuneration planning, understanding the tax structure, understanding pensions, SMSF if you're in Australia, whatever is available from a tax perspective to be able to help. R&D, patent box reliefs, depreciation, capital allowances. Those whole areas are really, really something that we take for granted as accountants, but we can certainly help small business owners understand the importance of that. And an interesting one as well is team profiling. So some firms might find this slightly weird. There are various different types of profilings out there, but it really gives a good understanding of the team, how strong the team is, where the gaps in the team are, and you can help the clients from an outside and external perspective understand where they need to fill in. Now, there's various types of profiling tools, and we certainly used one that was one of the Entrepreneurs Institute, which was a much more relaxed profiling tool. It looked at people's strengths rather than where they go to when they're weak, which potentially some of the others particularly see where you go when you're under pressure. These were much easier to talk to clients about. So again, look at team profiling, and is that something you could help your small business owners with? Understanding where they want to get to. Now, we've covered a lot of these points already, so I will go through these quite quickly. Sensitivity analysis, playing with the numbers. What happens if it goes up by 5%? What happens if it goes down by 5%? Very simple, effective way of helping your clients understand visually where they could get to. Obviously, we've discussed strategic planning, financial modeling, business modeling sessions, and there's a number of tools on the internet to be able to help you with this. You don't have to start from scratch. You can take an existing methodology and use it and adapt it to fit your firm or your processes or your systems. Sometimes our clients don't or can't see to the future. So a really great tool to be able to help them understand where they want to get to is to cost their future. So sit down with them and ask them, where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to live? What holidays do you want? What cars do you want to drive? How many children do you have? What schools are they going to be going to? Where do you want to be living? Everything, and just cost that future. And it'll be a very interesting exercise, because realistically, if their business is their sole source of income and it's got to provide that income in 5 years' time, and it might be a very high number, and we know where they are now, well, it gives us a target to hit. And, you know, sometimes those crazy 5-year goals are actually achievable. If we break them down into 5 years and we break each year down into 12 months, then all we need to do is hit 1 month at a time, not hit the 5-year target. And how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. How do you climb a mountain? One step at a time. So it doesn't matter sometimes if the 5-year plan ahead is quite scary. If we create a route map along the way and measure where we are every step of the way on that route map, it's surprising that suddenly business owners have focus. They hit month 1, they hit month 2. And if they hit month 12, then suddenly maybe that 5-year goal isn't quite so scary after all. Benchmarking is critical to understand how they compare to others in their industry, and key performance indicators are a great way for small business owners to hold them accountable and to get them to really, really understand the importance of the numbers in their business and the key numbers. This is key performance indicators. This isn't about giving them 20 performance indicators. This is about 3 to 5 critical numbers that they need to hit. It might be new leads. It might be number of customers that need to come into the shop. It might be number of viewings if they're an estate agent. So it's really, really critical that we understand and help them understand their key performance indicators. Now, installing management reporting, and we've talked about cloud, and I'm saying, yes, you should work with people who aren't on cloud. You'll probably see here there's a bias towards cloud, so I apologize. But we should be understanding why Xero QuickBooks Online are not suitable for our clients. And sometimes they won't be, but we do need to understand, are we sure? Should they not be using cloud? Because it's the add-ons that are really, really helpful from a cloud perspective. The ability now for technology to talk to one another, open banking and the advent of open banking, and being able to share information across softwares and across platforms is critical. And the speed, efficiency, and the data that's created by doing that is so much better. So inventory systems, CRM systems, till systems, a lot of those so much now are cloud-based, and to be able to talk to your software and to be able to therefore get really, really accurate bookkeeping and management information, it just leads to so much better business decision making. We've talked about bookkeeping and how accurate bookkeeping procedures are, journals, revenue recognition, accruals and prepayments, and reporting, including a cash flow, because understanding cash and operating cash and budget versus actual are really, really critical to measure performance going forward. The accountability piece, again, we can have very relaxed monthly check-ins or quarterly check-ins or bi-monthly check-ins. Just asking the client, how are you? How did you get on? What 3 things were you supposed to do last month? What have you done? What haven't you done? What are your numbers? What are your challenges? What are you going to do for the next month? Just that simple process on a monthly check-in is, again, massively valuable. Now, of course, you can go into board level support and board meetings. And again, there's plenty of agenda systems for board meetings online. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's a standard, trusted, and tried process. So stick with what works. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Accountability, we've talked about trusted sounding boards. And really, really critical here is using pro forma agendas. This is where the whole team can get involved, and it's not just down to the leaders in the firm. So show the team a pro forma agenda. Everybody is then following the same system and achieving consistent, repeatable results. So pro forma agendas are critical to engage the team. And finally, on scaling up, it's about better before bigger. Too many businesses out there grow their existing model without understanding that model. They grow broke. Effectively, it's like going to a doctor and saying, do I need to, am I okay? And the doctor's saying, well, you look fine, just put on some more weight and I'm sure everything will be okay. There's no way that they would say that, clearly. Again, in business, we need to be better before we're bigger. So it's important that we get the existing model right before we scale it and potentially cause bigger problems for ourselves. And this is where systems become critical. Systems are how we do it here. How we do what here? How we do everything here. So how we do it here needs to be ingrained in the small business owner's brain. They need to document and systemize every single part of the business, not just operationally, but also the soft systems. How we greet a client in our firm, how we see a customer, how we sell, how we take somebody on, how we do the actual operational elements, how we talk to people, how we answer the phone. So everything needs to be systemized. It's effectively creating that business in a box, that franchise effect, even if you're not intending to franchise it. But systems are critical. And we know when there's a problem with systems because suddenly there's firefighting, customer complaints, issues with delays and deliveries and operational issues are generally down to systems failures, not people failures. And every time a business doubles in size from about 10 people upwards, the systems tend to need to be replaced. And this isn't computer systems, this is operational, how we do it here systems. So it's important that we're constantly reviewing our systems and making them appropriate for the size of business that we are. Execution is critical. So this is the separation and the difference between those that achieve success and those that don't. People who achieve success get stuff done. To get stuff done, they need to be held accountable. We don't need long minutes of meetings, we need an action plan. Who is going to do what by when? So very simple accountability, deadline driven implementation, focus and bias on implementation here. Get stuff done. Who, what, when, critical for our clients to get them into that. Continuous improvement, we've discussed, continuously improving the systems. And obviously it's critical, income follows assets. We know this from property. It's the same in business. We need to have our assets and we need to have them documented. And that's our IP, our brand assets, our systems, everything in the organization needs to be documented. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist. So focusing on systemizing and creating assets for the business, understanding what's missing and helping small business owners fill the gaps is again critical. Now, everything here is not difficult to do. It's about focusing on the right numbers and the right activities, consistently measured and monitored, and results will automatically flow. So Amy, I'll take a break here. Is there any questions that we've got that have come through? I can see some activity in the chat function.
Yeah, just a little one. I think Zara was asking about receiving handouts, and I just wanted to confirm if she was talking about, and you've mentioned a lot of workbooks and systems and processes like the agenda systems, etc. I've responded as already, but for everyone else in the chat, these are accessible to our Clarity member firms, and Aynsley will be sharing at the end of the session about how you can get involved as part of the Clarity community.
I mean, we spent a lot of work in time refining and really drilling down to what works for clients, and our members have access to these tools. By all means, if there's one thing here that you want help with, then absolutely we can help you get it. Otherwise, I'll show you how you can become a member of Clarity and how you can get access to these. Again, a lot of these tools are available on the internet as well, so it's very simple to be able to just Google and find the assets and tools that you need. So just conscious of time as well, Amy. So we're on time, which is good for me. I did rattle through that a little quickly. So if we did want to just have a quick look and leave this up on screen in case somebody wanted to take a screenshot. We are sending out the slides, obviously, but in case you wanted to take a screenshot, and if you've got any questions on anything there that you wanted to ask me about, then fire away. If you don't want to do it now, we'll stay on a little bit at the end as well if you'd prefer to have a maybe not raise your hands in public, then that's fine too. There's a few more things coming through. Perfect. Okay, I'll move on. So this is really important about how we engage the team. Engaging the team here is critical to success. We can't do all of this on our own. Now, if we are a sole practitioner or we're working for ourselves, then obviously it's all down to us. We now need to understand how we can create a business that we can get people to help. And it's not necessary that you have to employ people. You can contract people and you can get people to work either onshore in the UK or offshore to be able to support you. So this necessarily isn't about employing full-time people, but it's about delegating, and so that you can focus on the high value, value-added tasks that you can do rather than focusing on the mundane and the routine. This is about you increasing your revenue mix and finding the right revenue mix to generate the right profitability for you. Now, our members work, and this is where we work more deeply with some of our members into their business, and it's all based on the Thrive model. So it's about focusing on the accountant as the center of the model, and it's all about helping them get more money, time, and freedom. In fact, that's pretty much what most business owners are looking for, not just accountants. So if you think about this from your client's perspective, they're probably looking for more money, time, and freedom as well. And we focus on the three areas of people, process, and clients, and we break that down into various different levels. So really drill down on how we can help our members achieve massive success. But and again, if you want to, a hint, if you want to look at your own numbers and complete a scorecard to understand how you're set up to thrive and how your firm can actually drive forward and really improve its business on as a whole, then click on that, go to that link. Amy has already put it in the chat box, and it'll give you an indication of what potential is in your business and also how you can set your firm up to thrive and really take advantage of that Thrive model. Now, we know that processes and systems are critical here to achieve success, and every single Clarity member goes through a one clear path process. So 9 steps to get from A to B to help them really drive business advisory, implementation, and success. And so it's about helping you understand and segment your clients, find why the clients that really want help with business advisory, helping them with the messaging and the pricing, making sure that accountability is driven through a champion or a firm lead, helping with training, connecting with clients, all the way up to systemization. And so that's really critical process to engage the whole team using systems and processes so that everybody in the organization knows the right way to do it in your firm. And as well as that, we have a lot of additional resources that we help accounting firms with. So whether it's agenda systems, whether it's how to introduce clarity, whether it's how to price, it's how to find ideal clients and how to market. And particularly during this period, we've also focused on a COVID battle plan. So how to help your clients during COVID, how to assess them, how to speak to them all really, really rapidly and quickly, and to be able to offer help and support in the fastest possible period. It's also about then helping them through the recovery phase and how they can achieve, survive to thrive, and how you can actually set them up for strategic growth. So again, huge amount of resources that we provide to our members. So if you want to understand the next steps on how to become a Clarity firm and how to get access to the 5 levels of business advisory, the various models that we've discussed, the frameworks, and all the tools and templates that will enable you to introduce business advisory services in your accounting firm. So this is about the models. So 5 levels of advisory, the advisory framework, and the tools and templates, and the Thrive model. It's also about how we bring years and years of profound wisdom together. We combine that with group momentum, because we've found that sometimes firms move faster and quicker when they're together. And so effectively a buddy group, people who can talk to one another, again, share issues and challenges and problems in a safe environment, and who can see how some are achieving success and how some are moving faster than others. So that whole group momentum drives personal accountability. And how we do that is we have a huge number of processes that really drive and push that forward. Now, on the previous screen, you saw the 9 steps, which is a 90-day program effectively. What we can do is have quick wins and make sure in 14 days that you're actually already starting the process and have already made some sales to small business owners, so that to show that the model actually works and can help you really drive forward in success. So that's a quick process that we help you do in 14 days, and then supercharge onto that 4 levels of business advisory in 21 days. We also give access to a portfolio view, so you can see all your clients in one screen and see their critical 7 key numbers in one screen, and what you need to do to be able to help them and how you can benchmark them against one another. We have live sessions, we have Slack groups, we have additional training resources and materials, real-time updates, and SOS emergency calls with our member success team to be able to really drive and help you get success. So this is all about you. We're all in. I hope you might be too. So to the mechanics of how to become a Clarity member firm, we generally run on weekly cohorts so that we can get people together in groups. And we kickstart the cohort every Friday. So it's Planet Friday, and then work through it on Monday to Thursday. So it gives you the weekend to get started. And basically, the price for getting started with Clarity to become a member firm of Clarity for a bronze 25, which is our starter package with 25 licenses, is £130 a month, and you get access to this entire process here. If you want bronze unlimited, so that's unlimited number of clients on Clarity, that's £395. So hopefully you can see there's a massive value to becoming a Clarity member. Huge support that we give you as an accounting firm to be able to really, really drive, help and support for your clients, to be able to help you and your clients at both the same time. So you'll see that there's a massive amount of support that's available to you. Now, there is a free 30-day trial for AAT members. So if you just want to contact us, and that's specifically agreed and organized through our partnership with AAT. So 30-day free trial for AAT members. So if you want to get that free trial, get in touch with your AAT membership number, and we'll make sure you get the code to get a 30-day free trial. I'd rather you took it as 30 days free and got started rather than a free trial. Sometimes people in free trials don't take action. We want you to take action because we want you to succeed, and we want you to help your clients succeed too. So 30-day free trial, get in touch. You can book a call with us. So if you just want to click on that QR code, so if you want to scan it with your phone, then please do. Alternatively, Amy will drop in the link to book a Calendly to book a call. And that's to either get a demo of Clarity or to discuss anything that you've seen here. Now, I think it's important that you join on the basis of the magic, not the mechanics. So we're looking here at the magic and the models, not the actual mechanics. And I know accountants, I can say this as I'm an accountant, get into the nitty gritty. The nitty gritty works. We have plenty of case studies to show you the nitty gritty works. So do this for the magic and the models, not for the nitty gritty. But if you want to book a demo call and want to see more under the bonnet, then we'll happily do that with you too. If you want to get started on a free trial or a 30-day free period, then please get in touch and we'll be able to help you sort that too. So Amy will follow up everybody on this call. You will get a copy of the slides, you'll get a copy of the recording and a copy of that Calendly link to book in a call. And hopefully we'll see you soon, because I think together we can make a massive difference to this world, a massive difference to small business.
Thanks, Ains. Just before we sign off, I had a really good question as well. Is one of the listeners has said she's recently started using Futurely, and that some firms are using Clarity and Futurely together, and do they work well together? So they work really extremely well together. So we, as an accountant, I used Futurely in practice. We have a partnership with Futurely. Together, we believe Futurely and Clarity gives you a complete wraparound business advisory solution. So it does the conversation, it does the starting, it then does the heavy lifting with the projections and creating three-way projections and KPIs and dashboards, and then it comes back into the business development. So they really do complement each other very, very well. We do have joint packages between Clarity and Futurely as well, if that's something that if you're a Futurely client. Happy to talk to you. They definitely work very, very well together. And Clarity basically unlocks the power of Futurely. It ensures that you can use Futurely with all of your clients, maybe not just the top 10, 20% of clients. Brilliant.
Are there any other questions, Amy?
No other questions at the time, but I will be following up everybody with the slides and the recording and the link to booking a call. So if you don't have any questions yet, but you do have tomorrow or might be later this week, then just ping us a message back and we'll get back to you.
Well, fantastic. Miraculously, I am on time again. Which
I'm
is
so impressed.
Really unheard of for me. So thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for being on the call. We really, really appreciate it. We'd love to hear more from you. We'd love to talk to you. So please do get in touch. Thanks for your time.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone.